self-care, how in the devil are we supposed to take care of ourselves when we're looking at a pandemic and trying to follow all kinds of different rules that we've never had to follow and having this new normal? Well, let's talk about it. My name is Heather Quackenboss. I'm with UW-Madison Division of Extension in La Crosse County. I'm thrilled to be doing this with United Campus Ministries and seeing what we can do and how we can actually take care of ourselves in a way that really suits us. See, frankly, self-care is often seen as these very much feminine type of spa days and different things to take care of ourselves. You know, manicures and pedicures and herbal tea and bubble baths. And honestly, doesn't hit for most of us, does it? Things like this are going to be maybe something nice that we can do, a really fun thing that we might be able to do. Sometimes we don't like these things. And sometimes we hear about that and we're like, that's not self-care. That sounds terrible. Thing we do sometimes is we then sabotage ourselves into looking at what we think self-care should be. So, you know what? I had a bad day back in April and I started just indulging in a little bit of something. Maybe I still am. And it's become a habit that isn't really helpful for us or doesn't even work anymore. We might try to do self-care activities that take money, maybe that we don't have, maybe that really needs to be used somewhere else, maybe that we don't even want to spend, but we think we need to. We procrastinate. We're like, yeah, I'll take care of myself later. Or once it calms down, then I'll be okay to be able to take care of myself. And honestly, later tends to never come. And sometimes we give up, like, forget it, I'm done, and this is it. And then nothing really changes. So we all have this perspective of what works for us and what we think should work for everyone. Like this rhinoceros in the picture though, our perspective is only ours. No one else looking at that landscape sees that rhinoceros's horn. So just knowing that we are all fairly unique and we like to do things in our way and what works for us. So for some, that might be self-care, for some, that might be community care, and all of those are going to look different for all of us. We do want to put our best foot forward. If you look on social media, we put the good stuff, right? The stuff we're willing to fight for, or those beautiful things that we think people should know. So when we start looking at that, everyone looks rosy and golden and perfect, and none of us really put that vulnerable, soft, bitten out part of the apple out on Instagram or TikTok or whatever we use. And not having that vulnerability out there and having everyone look perfect can make us feel a little bit worse and say, wow, why don't I have it together? Frankly, folks, everyone's only putting out the rosy, shiny side. We often don't put out that side of, oh, I'm struggling. And then we don't get maybe the help we need, and we don't think that anyone else has some of those same problems or worries. So part of self-care, honestly, is really, are you being kind to yourself? We all have that inner critic, right? Oh, you could have done that better. You could have been faster. You should have done this. And we should on ourselves a lot. We get very critical. Would we do that to our friend? Would we do that to someone we love? Would we do that even to a stranger? So changing that inner voice of how we talk to ourselves is going to be hard, really hard. And one of those things that can really help us figure out how to get through tough times, how to make it through a day that is just bonkers, how to get through something that we're struggling with. So one of the ways to do that, and one of the ways for self-care, is to actually acknowledge our feelings. As weird as that sounds, particularly if you're from the Midwest, where feelings should be happy, good, okay. We can acknowledge those, and sometimes that just really, okay, there we go. Because our feelings, when we acknowledge that, can say, hey, here's what it is, and now you can deal with it. It also can tell us what we might be needing. If we're angry about something, what do we need to fight for? If we are sad, what are we grieving for? What are we missing? If we're overwhelmed, all right, How can I go about this? What do I need help with? All of those feelings can be those needs. Now, I didn't think this necessarily worked until one day I was driving one of the kids to school, and it was just one of those mornings where just everything was going wrong. It seemed like everything was in a rush. My to-do list was big. I wasn't maybe connecting with the family very well. And so when I dropped them off, I slammed the door really hard, and I just started to cry in the middle of school drop off, crying, trying to drive my car. And I thought, oh, I'm overwhelmed. And as soon as I said it, it's like, oh, I'm overwhelmed. So naming what I felt helped me say, okay, I've just named it. Now I can manage. Now I can cope. Now I can deal. Now I know what I'm dealing with. So acknowledging, all right now, how are you feeling? With that feeling, is that something you want to sit with for a while? Because sometimes we just need to do that. Is that something you want to vent with someone about for a little bit? Is that something you say, all right, now I know how I can handle it? All of those are very valid ways to cope and to look at our feelings. Another thing to do, particularly for taking care of ourselves, is to accept what we're dealing with or what we're in. Now here, it's the cookie comparing himself to the ice cream saying, wow, you guys are so much cooler than I am. And so many of us look at other folks and we think we need to be good at what other folks are. We look at what we think we should be doing and we don't necessarily see what lane we're good at. And to accept what we're good at and to accept what we're not good at or to accept who we are is one of those things that says, oh, here's where I belong. When I was in school, I was trying to be more of a medical type of degree, going into those directions, and I took organic chemistry. Oh, organic chemistry is not my lane. It is just not. And I thought it needed to be, and I was so judgy with myself, saying, you should be better at this, you should get more help, you should not have the grade you do. And looking back, frankly, being vulnerable here, that D was a blessing to let me know that, Heather, this is not your lane. Find what your lane is, do what you're good at, and do it that way. And so accepting that, frankly, took a lot more years than I care to admit, but accepting what we are good at is going to be important because we'll often judge what we're not good at instead. Being present. We've heard of mindfulness a lot, and some folks really like sitting and meditating and being present for some certain amount of time. For others of us, that doesn't necessarily work. So being present is just to stop and say, all right, what's right here? Here's my cup of coffee. Oh my gosh, how it smells, or how that mug feels so warm in my hands, just to pay attention for even a few seconds. Or that sunrise or sunset, to really notice that, to notice our surroundings with no judgment, and to just say, here I am, can be enough of a brain break to help us move forward when we need to move forward. And then the other thing is finding our purpose. What do you love? What do you do when no one's watching? There's this wonderful, little Venn diagram. This really comes from Japanese culture. And it really looks at what is the most important thing in my life? What will I not get bored with? And where am I helping people? And if you can get all three of those, you have your answer of what is part of your purpose. And this could be, yes, it could be for work and employment, but it also can be your lifestyle or what you do in your free time, your leisure lifestyle, and what those things are that really help fill your buckets. And honestly, kind of going back to that acceptance, using all of those things when we don't do so well as part of our learning, that growth mindset in education, getting out of your comfort zone if you're talking about experiential ed or frankly anything in life, looking at your past as an adventure, accepting your weaknesses as your features, expressing your anger in a creative way, all of these different things can be self-care. You're standing up for what you believe in, even if it's unpopular. That is hard. And we're seeing a lot of folks step out of that comfort zone and stand up for what they believe in. And Folks, that's self-care too. To really put our voice out there and to let our needs be known or to be that advocate is going to be really important for some of us. Now, Sonia Lubomirsky is a positive psychologist, and she really looks at happiness. And that happiness is not out there for us to find, it's inside of us. So looking at what makes our hearts happy, what makes our heads happy, where we feel most content, and where we just have those moments of awe and that gratitude and that joy. And she looked at 12 different ways of how you can do that for yourself. We'll talk about a few of those that fit in with self-care. First of all, game changer for frankly all of us is to replace our buts with and. When we're saying something, that but can stop some thinking. It can stop forward progress. It can stop us from looking at things in a way that's a little bit kinder. If I say, you know what, I really love hanging out with you, but I hate hiking. Well, the thing is, that person who you say that to might think, oh my gosh, you don't like hanging out with me, because everything that you say before the word but kind of gets forgotten about. If I said, I really like hanging out with you and I don't like hiking, really opens up, okay, what could we do then together so we can do something? So just a challenge for you, because I know you're going to say but at least one time today. Stop when you say that. Restart that sentence and use the word and. It's going to sound softer to you or the person who is saying it or listening to it, and opens up opportunities for us to figure things out. Expressing gratitude. One of the ways to really improve our well-being is to express our gratitude. Now, we could just say the things we're grateful for. At green lights, when I'm driving, I am grateful for green lights, because sometimes that is the one thing that I'm like, okay, thank you for making it through this light, and I feel a little bit better, and maybe the rest of the day is not so good, but I remember, hey, I had green lights today. You don't always have those. So even those little tiny, tiny moments of gratitude can really help our brains find that positive. Some of us have a really good time writing these down, and it actually is recorded a different part in our brain when we write gratitude. Instead of just saying it, it's remembered a little bit better. And when we can find those things we're grateful for, as little or minuscule as they are, I had a hot meal today, I woke up and I got to go for a walk, I have all my homework done before it's due, all of those things can help us start looking for positives in different situations, particularly when we're living in a fairly negative time with everything that's happening in our world. Connecting. Now, this one is not easy right now. The last 6 months, we were asked to very much limit our connections. And that whole social distance really means physical distance, right? We've sometimes stopped connecting with folks because we've had to physically distance. And when we miss that social connection, we're missing a huge part of what our humanity really is. So figuring out who's your person, who are your people, who do you just are able to be yourself with. And when you find that, connect and talk and text and snap and Zoom or do whatever you can to make sure that connection stays there, because that's going to help our well-being so much. One of the number one things as people age that indicates positive health is the connections, the social connections that they have. Humor. So many times there are bad situations, and if we can look at it with humor, it's going to help us get through it. Sometimes I make situations in my real life into a Saturday Night Live, an SNL skit, just because sometimes I can't believe this thing is happening. Sometimes I can't believe that this is real. And so if I, in my head, make it a Saturday Night Live skit, sometimes it's easier to take in and absorb and then process it from that way. So humor, frankly, can really help us. And honestly, the folks who said laughter is the best medicine, true. When we can laugh, we do tend to feel better, and we do tend to be able to get through things in a little bit easier manner. And do what makes your heart sing. whether that's getting outside, whether that's exercising or art or music or crafting or puzzles or whatever it is where you lose track of all time and you lose track of everything going on, those are called flow activities. And those flow activities are really important for us to get lost in because that's part of our purpose, that's part of who we are, and that helps us accept us, ourselves, and helps us and helps our brains reset for all of those have tos and all of those struggles and all of those dealing with things. So frankly, what I really hope that you remember is self-care might be just for you. It also might really be for those folks around you. There's a lot of collectivist cultures whose community care is making sure their whole family, their whole group is also taken care of, because if everyone's doing well, then I'm doing well. So looking at, all right, what works for me? Because if we look at Instagram and say, oh, that's the self-care I should be doing, we're going to sorely disappoint ourselves and not feel okay. So folks, please go out and do something that makes your heart sing, be safe, and find what helps you, and you will then feel a little better. Thank you.